Welcome back, this is Steph from Cold Blooded Freaks, and today we are going to go over some of the rarest reptiles that you can own. I have this guy to join us. This is one of our carpet pythons. He is just a baby, but I absolutely love his coloration, and I think his vibrancy is something that makes some of the animals that we're talking about today the most desirable. We have named this guy Dutton because he has this beautiful little Y on the top of his head. There, you can see it there maybe. That looks like the Yellowstone symbol. So we figured that name was perfect for him. Starting off at number 5 on our list, reminds me a little bit of this guy, is the Bowlen's python. These guys are absolutely stunning with their iridescent black colorations that they have over most of their body, with these really cool yellow tiger stripes that go from nose to tail. These guys are indigenous to the high mountainous areas of mainland New Guinea. They are highly protected in New Guinea due to their popularity. They do tend to be harvested and poached for their beautiful colorations. They are proving to be a little bit hard to breed in captivity, but there are some people that are having good success over the last few years. Their clutches can reach up to about 10 eggs. What I really like about these guys is that they are a thick-bodied, large snake. So they kind of have more mass to them, which I think is very interesting for snakes. I personally like a snake that has a little bit more thickness to him versus the long, slender body snakes such as this guy, which he will eventually get thicker. But I think they are so sought after due to just their beauty. Coming in at number 4 is one of my personal favorites, Borneo earless monitors. I have wanted one of these guys for years now, but they are a little bit hard to get your hands on for sure. These guys tend to be very inactive species. They are semi-aquatic, which makes their habitats and enclosures very neat to set up. You can have them heavily planted in the back and then have some very neat waterfall and pond-like structures in the front for them to when they want to go into the water. One of the most attractive things about these little underwater dragons, as I call them, is exactly that. They look like these little dragons. They literally look like what you would think of when you would think of the ancient dragons. They have those really cute rounded noses with those beautiful eyes that they have that tend to almost have a blue hue, and their brown little rough scaled bodies are just super neat. One of the other things that's very cute about these guys is their tails are another type of anchor for them. If there is a flood or fast moving water, they can use their tail to actually anchor themselves to a rock or even a branch or a root, just so they don't get washed away. Coming in at number 3 is the beautiful Maltese geckos. These guys have been on the market for a while, but they are still very hard to get your hands on. They're very pricey, but they're very beautiful. There is 5 total different species of these guys, and they do all have one thing in common: very, very bright green coloration. They are native to New Zealand. Very neat thing about these guys is they love heavily planted enclosures, and they are arboreal as well as diurnal, which means that they will be active day and night. One of the things that I think makes these guys so sought after, besides their beautiful coloration, is the fact that they don't get very large. They are handleable, though they are quite quick. They can have beautiful enclosures that don't have to be gigantic, but you can also make them beautiful with live plants as well as pieces of lumber such as tree branches and cork bark. Coming in at number 2 is the green spiny-tailed iguanas. These guys have been something I have been keeping an eye out for a long time. They're extremely beautiful with their very, very bright greens, but they also have these rich black stripings that go down their bodies as well. One of the coolest things about them is their spiny tail. It looks like a club of some sort, but they are extremely rare to have in captivity, and they seem to be proven to be very hard to reproduce in captivity as well. Only a handful of breeders have been able to have these guys reproduce in captivity, and they do produce very small clutches, making it even harder to produce them in high quantities. There are 3 subspecies of these guys. They are native to Colombia, Peru, Brazil, and the Guyanas. One of the things that they love to eat, which also makes them a little bit harder to have in captivity, is ants. These guys are extremely arboreal, so they are constantly going up and down trees, and they aren't easily found out in the wild. Coming in at number 1 is the cloud forest agamas. So Legacy Herps has been able to reproduce these guys, but they are absolutely stunning. If you have not checked them out, you should. They have some beautiful colorations, and one of the things that is most beautiful about these guys is they actually are blue, a rich blue-green coloration with some very rich black and gray stripes in between those. The males flaunt some absolutely stunning colors during breeding season especially, but even as youngsters, they start off with some beautiful blue and black banding. The females flaunt more of a green coloration, but they are not lacking any less beauty. Their very cool structural design of their body with their spiky scales makes them just as neat. These guys are also another arboreal species, and they do tend to like the more tropical or wet zones of central Sri Lanka. One of the best things about owning these guys would be the fact that they're extremely intelligent and they're very personable. They will recognize you for coming back to feed them, or just the fact that it's you coming back to visit them. And one of the other things that makes them extremely cool to keep in captivity is they are very visible, constantly out and exploring their enclosure. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys liked the episode. In the comments below, please let us know which of the 5 you thought were the coolest, and if you thought we were missing any that you thought were cooler. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.